have an important lesson at the end of this session. Stay tuned to better understand the mind and the nervous system.
Hi, I'm Justin Caffrey and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing some mindful movement. This is a practice that can be really quite valuable to folks who struggle with the sitting still through meditation. So we want to bring a sense of connection to the body, a capacity to bring ourselves present to the current moment. And it will still offer some levels of frustration because the critical component in mindful movement is the slow nature of how we are moving. We are not looking to move in an athletic way. We're not looking to strive. We're looking to bring connection to the sense of noticing each move as we pass through it. Let's be clear, meditation is far from easy. Mindfulness is the ability to connect back to the current moment. And if you're looking to improve your brain, your mental acuity, your ability to be more attentive, your ability to be more able to appreciate what's here in this moment, then it takes practice. Considerable practice over considerable periods of time, but not huge amounts. Small and consistent practice. Wake up, show up, do the work. Make sure that you stay on it. And in particular, as normal, we are focusing on nasal breathing as well in this practice. So if you have a yoga mat or a space on the floor that you can practice on, that's where we're going to be. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do put your comments below. Less than 70% of people who watch this video, yes, subscribe. Subscribers are at about 26% of people who watch the content. So please do subscribe. It boosts the numbers. It gets the algorithm to like what we're doing. It's completely free and it's out there for everybody else. This particular practice is part of a course that I'm delivering at the moment for leaders who have busy minds, busy lives, and want to be more effective, want to squeeze another 5%, 10% out of their life. Just like somebody who's struggling with anxiety, the overwhelm at leadership level is exactly the same. So we have to do less. We have to cut stuff out of our lives, get away from tech for a while, use practices like this to slow down, become more present. So we're more present for friends, family, our kids, our employees, our shareholders, our board, whatever it is that you need in your life right now. So I'm going to be practicing over here on the mat. And really, the invitation is just to find a space and to lie down. Allowing the arms to fall alongside the body. Just notice that if you have any injuries at the moment, adjust accordingly. I have a MCL injury at the moment, so I'm keeping a slight bend in my right knee just to support that. Just being mindful of what my body needs right now. So mindful of what your body needs right now in this moment, and each time you use this practice, you may notice that there's a different need, a different requirement. It's Sunday morning when I record this and probably feel different than I would if I had recorded it yesterday. And notice that we're moving through these motions with calmness and ease, avoiding the need to strive or to push to a certain point. This is not yoga, this is not Pilates, this is a connected movement between mind and body. We're getting into our bodies. To open, we're just going to move the arms. We're just going to lift the arms in a very gradual way until they're 90 degrees with the body, with the fingers pointing to the ceiling. And it's a very slow, gradual move. We want to initially feel the weightedness of the arms. The slower I move, the more I can feel the difference between the left and the right. Maybe one feels a bit stronger than the other as you bring it to an alert state. And then when we get to that 90-degree angle, maybe noticing the difference here between gravity on the incline versus here in this static position. And then we're going to return to the floor again, really slowly. Noticing if you want to move quickly, counter that and just slow it down. Notice the mind will wander off and think, this needs to be quicker, faster, I want this to be competitive, over soon. And just bring the attention back from that mind wanting, striving, to the hands and the arms slowly moving back towards the floor. And as usual, we're breathing through our nose if you can, in and out through the nose. It's access path to the nervous system, to the vagus nerve. Once again, we will bring the arms up. And to the 90-degree angle, noticing the need to move a bit quicker. Felt I moved quicker there because I lost attention. My mind went into autopilot. Maybe even just noticing the arms, the eyes. Fingers pointed overhead. Pause here. Now we're going to make a move and just check in with your own body as to how this feels. Anything that we do that you feel you don't have the flexibility or coordination, please feel free to adjust accordingly, as I did with my knee when we lay down. So the invitation now is to allow the arms to fall backwards over the head, but again, really slowly. Maybe getting a sense of what gravity's doing right now. Do they feel heavier in this move as you bring them over the shoulders? And then if it feels comfortable, you can just leave the hands to rest over the head. Connecting into the breath and just remembering that 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, in through the nose, out through the nose. The key to accessing the parasympathetic state within the vagus nerve. Noticing the mind wander and just coming back again to the breath. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. That's okay if the mind wanders. Now we're just going to shift the body into a bit of a
stretch. Maybe just noticing if we push from the tips of the toes up to the tips of the fingers, not pushing to the biggest stretch ever, just bringing a sense of presence and stretch. It might be helpful to interlace the fingers to help the stretch, or just have the hands stretching either side, whatever feels right for you today in this moment with your body. We'll just hold the stretch for a few seconds before the point where it's the biggest stretch, a yoga stretch, a Pilates stretch, just noticing stretching, creating that bit of stretch into the whole of the fascia of the body, from the tips of the toes and now we'll just move to the point where we'll re-engage with the hands, and we're going to move back through that 180-degree arc again, but really mindfully, really slowly, noticing the need to want to strive or push, and instead just staying slow and gradual in that movement. Maybe just feeling the difference as you come past the 90-degree angle, and again feel that weightedness in the body. And slowly but gradually, as the hands come close to the ground, and letting them rest. And now, another slight variance. Again, noticing if you need any support here, and if it feels comfortable, you can bring your feet closer to your butt. And we're just going to bring a little bit of stretching into the knees. So maybe just putting your right hand onto your right knee, your left hand onto your left knee. Just initially bringing a gentle pull to the knees, closer to the belly, the abdomen. Again, not looking for the biggest stretch here. Not yoga, not Pilates. Just noticing where that stretch is, and then maybe stopping, not looking to kind of get a big move in the glutes here on the stretch. Just noticing how is it to go near the edge but stop and just do enough. Connecting into the breath. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. And then if you feel comfortable, you can adjust this by also then bringing the head up. And you can bring the head closer to the chest. And again, just noticing what it's like to create a movement now without striving. You're noticing the sense of feeling the weightedness of the head as it lifted from the floor. Noticing the hands supporting the knees. Lower back is maybe lifted off the mat a little bit. Again, be mindful of what's needed here for you and your body. And then slowly and gradually dropping the head back down again, releasing the knees to the floor and placing the feet once more again on the floor. Drop the feet back into that lying down position.
Connecting back into the breath, the anchor, the place where we can always rest throughout the day. It's available all the time, not just in practice, for us to slow it down. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Noticing where the mind is now as we move back to this lying down position. In the future or the past, notice the thoughts. And then come back to this moment, this breath. Noticing where the breath is most vivid, maybe the rise and fall of the belly, the abdomen. Or the inhale and exhale through the nose. And now we're going to move very gradually, very mindfully up into a position which, for those of you who would have been in yoga or Pilates, might refer to as a tabletop position. For everybody else, it is just simply getting ourselves up onto our hands and knees. And in this position, we're just going to do a child's pose. So you may have heard this before, you may have seen it before, but all I'm simply doing is moving my butt gently and slowly back so that it is going towards my feet. Dependent on your level of flexibility, will depend on how far you can go with this. So again, don't push past. This is not competitive movement. This is just simply a movement where we're looking to find the edge. So just finding a point that works for you. Stopping before you're bringing a big stretch in. Just move my microphone. And then bring the head slowly, and again, as close to the mat as feels comfortable for you. And as we arrive here, we're just checking in with the body and noticing, how does it feel in this position? Noticing maybe the contact again, the knees, the feet on the floor, the ankles touching the floor, front of the feet, the toes. Maybe the hands, bringing the attention to the fingertips. Maybe just getting a sense here as you slow down in this position. Is there a variance in temperature? Do you now have a draft from the room that wasn't here before? Or maybe no real difference at all. Noticing what the body needs right now. Noticing where there's any tightness or holding. And being okay with not having to push past anything that's challenging. For me, I know that right knee is injured, so I'm not in a position where I would normally bring the fullness of my stretch. I'm just being mindful of what I need right now. And then we will once more really slowly bring ourselves back up into that tabletop position where we are supporting the body with the hands under the shoulders. And we're breathing here.
We're going to just do a couple of movements. One is going to be arching the back forward and the chin goes into the chest, bringing a stretch this way. And then the other one is going to be the opposite, where we bring this arch in and we stretch the head up to the ceiling. These are called cat and cow, but we don't need to have them by their names. It's just really slow movement connecting into the body. How does this one feel? Pause here and breathe for a bit. The mind will wander off and think, what's cat and cow and why is he doing this and what's happening next, and just bring it back to the attention of the slow movement as we now shift and bring the arch into the back, reminding yourself not to push too hard. How is my back? Nasal breathing. And then back into child's pose again. Slow and steady. Once the butt has got as far back as you feel you want to go, not pushing to the striving point, just allowing the head to come down and rest on the mat. Really feeling the nice stretch from the fingertips all the way through the body. Maybe here just even breathing from the toes and just bringing that breath up from the toes, through the legs, through the back and back up to the tips of the fingers. And then this exhale is always slower than the inhale. Once again, we'll go back up into that tabletop position. And this time we're going to extend forwards, so we're going to allow the hip bone to come down closer to the mat. And we're allowing the shoulders and the hands to support the upper body. And then we're going to look up to the ceiling, being very mindful of how your back is and whether or not this is good for you, and if you need to adjust. If it feels uncomfortable, you can just use child's pose here. Noticing if you feel like going into a big stretch, if you're a Pilates or yoga person and you want to do a big Cobra move here, what's it like to stop that and just slow down and rest closer to your edge? If you can glance over the left shoulder, maybe just noticing how it feels when you go over to the left shoulder and being aware of looking down the leg. And then seeing if you can glance a little over the right shoulder. Maybe you don't have that rotation and it doesn't feel right for you, and that's okay. Remember, there's no particular way to be here. Just simply slowing down and then moving back into that tabletop position, and then right back down once more into that child's pose position. Noticing how the body feels now as you rest back here, placing your head back onto the mat and connecting into the breath. There's no particular way to be here. We're just bringing this connection of the ability to notice the body and the breathing. Mindful movement is similar in ways to Qigong or Tai Chi. We want to come out of our bodies and come out of our heads and connect to our bodies. Famous Joyce quote, which is referencing a man in the story, and he says that he lived in close proximity to his body. I think it's actually lived a short distance from his body. Yeah, that's it. He lived a short distance from his body. Humans, we live in our head. And we'll come back into tabletop once more. We're going to conclude by just moving back into the lying down position. Finding that lying down position that works for you. Allowing the hands to rest alongside the body, the feet to fall away, the head supported by gravity. Connect to the breath. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. We're just checking in. How does it feel now to give yourself this time to be with yourself? Yes, there was movement, but it was gradual, it was subtle. Focus on the breathing. Bringing awareness and attention to the body. You will have been asking and prodding and just alerting your vagus nerve to the idea of shifting into parasympathetic. The more time we can get it in parasympathetic, the easier it is to teach it then how to rest in homeostasis, not to be in fight and flight. In homeostasis, we have our smart brain. We're able to be resilient, meeting challenges as they come throughout the day. For those of you who are interested in the tech side, we can measure our resilience now with our heart rate variability, which is also known as vagal tone. A higher HRV or a higher vagal tone signifies one's ability to better adapt to an ever-changing environment, to meet stress and challenge, adapt quickly rather than be derailed for a long time. Bringing movement back into the body, the mind will have wandered off, and that's okay. And maybe just bringing an attention to notice moving the hands, moving the toes, moving the ankles, moving and opening the knees. Careful choosing a side to just get up from.
and we've concluded. So this can be a practice that you can use daily. You can use this as a mix of, one day it can be a formal sitting meditation, the next day it could be a body scan, the next day it could be mindful movement. On days when you're busy, you can use my 5-minute guidance, my 10-minute guidance. But ultimately, for the prolonged and most impactful way to get your mind to its sharpest, to relieve symptoms of autoimmune disease, to find a capacity to be in pain or move through pain or seek a solution past pain, the continuity of practice is so important. It's not about a couple of times a week. Some people might say, oh, I practice, half an hour or 40 minutes twice a week. I'd much rather see somebody doing 15, 20 minutes a day consistently over time, finding slots in your day to make it work. That's where the big impact will come. I'd love to hear your comments below. Please remember, this content is free. It's out there for everybody. I want it shared so that more people can benefit from it. Even in the last video I posted yesterday, some incredible comments from people who've been following me for quite some time, who have consistently been doing these exercises, and they can see a shift in their anxiety and their stress levels. They're more present and engaged and capable. So whether you just want to be more able to be resilient, to move through stress, to realize that life is just a series of ever-changing moments. There is no consistency. The attachment to one thing, to have things a certain way, is where the pain exists. And the ever-changing nature of life is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. The choice, my friends, is to suffer from the pain. You have a divorce, a relative dies, you have a challenge at work, you have a challenge in terms of how you feel about the world right now, the environment, war. If you stay within the pain of that event, then it gets compounded by suffering. The choice is to be with the pain and then to adapt. How do we adapt? We breathe, we reconnect to the nervous system, we bring ourselves into homeostasis, into that parasympathetic state. And through that, then we have the resilience to meet the ever-changing waves of life. It will never stop. It will be relentless. But this is life. This is life. I learned these lessons the hard way, the death of our child after 11 months, just before his first birthday. And I now have a 16-year-old who's potentially going to go and live in a different country, far away from where we are. Didn't plan for that. Empty nesters very early. Not easy. But it's life, it's changing, it's richness, it's allowing him so much more. So I have to breathe into it. I have to find the space to know that I need him to experience and grow. It's not about me, it's about letting go. As we say in meditation, breathing out, letting go. So whatever you're facing, whatever challenge you've got going on, whether it's a problem with a client, a problem with a partner, a problem with a loved one, a difficulty with one of your kids, notice that it's not about them. What you can influence is how you react. You can't change them, but you can adapt and change how you react. Thanks for being here. Put your comments below. Please like and subscribe. Share this with as many people as you can. And as always, I appreciate your time, your patience, and most importantly, hopefully in some small way, your presence. I'm Justin Caffrey. Thanks for being here.